for deployment.
What is up, YouTube? I've really been getting into XDefiant lately, so I really want to show you some PC settings that you might want to use, especially at the beginning. The most important ones first are the video and graphics settings, because these you're going to have to restart your game to actually take effect, so we'll worry about the rest later. Especially windowed full screen if you have more than one screen, make sure the monitor is set up correctly. Turn this off. Keep the reduced latency on. You want to reduce as much latency as possible. If you have an NVIDIA graphics card, turn this on, of course. The brightness you want to have pretty high because there's a couple dark spots, but this can be whatever you want. Contrast, just keep it at the default. Then the graphics quality, keep it at default, but this will change by itself as soon as we change a couple other settings. The VSync mode, you want to have that is off. It always seems to introduce a little bit of delay, and I'm not a fan of that. The frame rate, I really like to limit it to my monitor's refresh rate. Just set it as on and put your custom FPS limit up to whatever your monitor's refresh rate is. All of this should be set to whatever your default was, and it will be pretty good. If you're having FPS issues, then lowering the shadows is going to give you the most performance for the least amount of change. So if your FPS is too low, then make sure to lower your shadow quality, spot shadows, spot shadow resolution, even your contact shadows. Resolution scale, keep it at 100, it just looks the best. Sharpening, I left this at default and it happened to be at 10. From here on out, pretty much keep everything as default until you get to the lens flare. This you definitely want to have off. Lens flare in pretty much every game is hurtful, it's annoying. Highly recommend turning this off. Then when you hit apply, it'll ask you to restart the game, so that's why we wanted to do this first before we do anything related to the gameplay. I'm gonna hit no because I already have this set up. Then after you restart your game, we're gonna go to play, hit practice zone, and here we get into the details where you're just gonna pick whoever, it doesn't matter, presets, it doesn't really matter, anything here at all doesn't matter. It's just to get into the game. Here we'll probably notice that your sensitivity is not the greatest. Let's go to the firing range here, and we can fix that. So now that we're here, we're going to be going into the settings once again. Go to gameplay and UI first. Make sure your field of view is at least at 110. I mean, in a game like this, you want to be able to see as much as possible around you. So the higher the better. This is just what is comfortable for me. You can change it to whatever you want, usually just higher than the default. The ADS field of view, you want to make sure it is consistent. The ADS behavior for me, I do highly prefer it to be on hold. For the ADS sensitivity transition, I do have it set up to blend. That way it feels the most organic, the closest to Call of Duty that I can get it. And that's what I'm used to, and that might be what you're used to. Melee during ADS is always useful. In case somebody gets a drop on you, you'll be able to melee them a lot easier. Aiming, interrupting, reload. Some people like this, some people don't. I really don't like it because I right click a lot by accident, and I don't want one of those accidental right clicks to stop my reload. Crouch behavior, definitely set it up to toggle, because if you have it set to hold, then you might end up crouching a lot, and there is a nerf where if you crouch too much, it'll slow you down a lot. The sprint behavior, I have it set up to tap, because if it's set up on hold, then my pinky just starts getting cramped up and it's not fun. I do have auto sprint off, and I will tell you why right now. The setting right below that is sprint interrupt reload. I want to be able to interrupt the reload just like I used to in Modern Warfare 2 back in 2009 by sprinting real quick immediately, and it just feels the most normal to me. The slide behavior, I do highly recommend you have it set up to tap. Auto reload should be on so that you lose as little amount of time as possible. The auto switch weapon, I do have it as off because I do kind of find that a little bit annoying when it just switches. Auto grab ledge is annoying to have on, so just definitely turn this off. Walk behavior, if you're going to be walking, I would crouch, but if you're going to be walking, set it up to hold. It's a lot easier in case that somebody gets a drop on you, you can just let go of the button and you won't be walking anymore. And of course, scoreboard behavior, that's hold. Damage numbers are a little annoying on the screen while you're actually playing, so maybe don't have this on. I do of course recommend you turn on the FPS display. That way while you're in game you can see if you're dropping a lot of frames or not, and then you can adjust the video settings to match your PC a little bit better. And then the rest, really no need to worry about that because everything is by default like this. Of course, for the mouse and keyboard, the most important part here is the mouse sensitivity. I have it set to 16 because it gives me if I run my mouse across the whole mouse pad, it's about 90% of a full turn. 80% of a full turn, and that just feels the most comfortable for me for some reason, where that's what we're here for. We can kind of snap a little bit easier depending on what you're used to. I would just recommend having your sensitivity set up to something that would equate to you doing a full 360 turn through your whole mouse pad, and then lowering it as you play the game and you realize that maybe that's a little bit too quick, or making it faster if that's a little bit too slow for you. All of this you should definitely keep as default, as in mouse acceleration, make sure that that is off. Should be off by default, but in case it's not, just make sure that it is off. Lock mouse to game window I do recommend having on. And then for the bindings, you can change them to match whatever you really like. I had to switch my activate ability to my side mouse button, and my deploy device, which is the one that you use to throw grenades, to my middle mouse button. And then my crouch I set up to the control key, of course. And then interact I set up to E, because I'm not used to hitting F for that. But again, everything's just a preference here. So whatever feels best for you is really what you should be using. But this is what I enjoy using, and a good little baseline for others who might be getting into the game just like I am currently. So I'm excited to make at least a couple more videos on this game. I've been enjoying it a lot so far. So we'll see you on the next one. Owl out.